Hey everybody, it's Christopher Small, the owner of CMS Law Firm, and today I want to talk about the kind of legacy that money can't buy. And whether you're listening to this a long time in the future or currently, this video was specifically sparked sort of from the George Floyd incident, sort of everything that's been happening surrounding that. And all the issues that sort of just surround this generally. For people to believe that this was some sort of an isolated incident, I think is ridiculous and wrong. And there's been plenty of commentary on that. I've shared plenty of stuff from other people on Instagram. I think it's a tragedy, and I hope that the people that did those things are brought to justice. It's such a difficult time. But I would be remiss, sort of as an estate planning attorney, if I didn't come on here and use my platform to talk about what we can all do individually to turn this tide over the long term. Okay, what I'm about to talk about isn't something that's going to change anything that we're talking about overnight. It's a systemic change, but on an individual level. Okay, and one of the things that I love about estate planning, one of the things that I love about being a parent, one of the things that I love about being a person is the ability that I have to persuade other people that are in my life, okay, and persuade them in a really, really great way or in a really, really bad way, depending on sort of the signals that I am giving out, the language that I am using, the actions that I am taking, and the way that I am living my life. And I wanted to take this opportunity to point out to everyone that when you are out there in the world, when you are dealing with your kids, when you are dealing with your friends, with your family, with everyone, the actions that you take on a daily basis have a greater effect on the overall sort of way that this world operates than you might imagine. And this video is really a call to action for all of us to think about the way that we wish things were, think about the way that we want things to be, think about the equality that we hope is exercised by everyone, and then actually do that when the opportunity arises. All right, and I'm going to take this outside of just race because of what I do, because that's what I do. But let's talk about that first. I can recall a time, I'll tell you, when I was at a Thanksgiving, okay? And Thanksgiving involves your entire family. And I was sitting around with I was a kid, by the way, too, at this time. I was sitting around, and my grandfather, who has since passed away, made a comment. Okay, I'm not going to or told a joke or said something sort of in jest. I'm not going to repeat what he said because I don't actually remember the specific words. But what I do remember was it was something that was not okay with me, even as a kid. And even as a kid, because that's how I roll, I've been this way my entire life, I said to him, "We don't do that. That is not funny. Like, I don't appreciate you talking like that about anyone at all." Okay? Now, the reason I tell that story is because when it comes to legacy, when it comes to changing the way that we all operate with each other on a fundamental level, we all need to be able to make those choices in that moment and stand up for the things that we say that we believe in. Okay? And that really means doing it when it's the hardest thing to do, right? When it's at a family gathering, when you're out in public and you see something that is going on that is wrong, to say something, right? To get out there and stand up and say something, okay? Here's the other thing too, okay? So that's all I got to say about that. If don't just talk the talk, walk the walk, and walk the walk when no one's looking, okay? Are you putting the grocery carts back where they're supposed to go when you're in the parking lot? If you're not, how are you going to be able to talk about responsibility out there in the real world? Okay? You're not. You are faking it. Okay? You are, and people can see that. And you know that internally. And that hurts. Okay? Here's the other thing I'll talk about when it comes to estate planning, okay? Because we're talking about family values, we're talking about family philosophy, the way that we operate, talking about passing down traditions and things like that. It's also important to remember that if you want your kids to appreciate what you give them, if you want your kids to be able to take the assets that you are hopefully going to hand down to them and use them for opportunity and not for like wasted activities, then you need to teach them those things. You need to demonstrate those things yourself. You need to let them know what your estate looks like, in my opinion. By the way, you don't have to do any of this, okay? But if you don't, that's okay. But don't be upset when they don't understand how to operate with money, when they feel like everything is a gift and should be handed to them. If you're not treating them this way, then don't expect them to just understand it, okay? People learn from the experiences that they have in their life. And if you want these things to be passed down, if you think they're important, then you should talk about them. I always encourage my clients to share their estate planning with their children, to share the way that they've set their trust up and the reason why they've set their trust up like that. I think it helps to provide context for the kids. I think it helps to provide context for the family to know not just what's going on, but why it's going on. It can also, by the way, give your kids a chance to sort of right the ship if they're doing things that you don't think are on the up and up. If you want them to mature a little bit, you can have that conversation with them and they can show you whether or not they're willing to do that. Okay? So hopefully this isn't too rambling. I thought it was really important to be said. We want these things to happen on a systemic level with the Justice Department, with economics, with the schools, with everything. And I totally get that. I'm totally on board with all of that. So much needs to change. And I hope we're working in the right direction with everything that's going on. Sometimes it takes these big events to really open everyone's eyes. But we know these things are going on. And if you start acting like that and change your ways or act the way that you talk on a daily basis, then the world around you, your small world, is going to begin to get better, right? And hopefully the people that see your example will start to lead by their own example. And you can have a ripple effect out there in the world, okay? So take these things seriously. At the end of the day, don't just talk about how important this is to you. Show it when no one's looking. That's it, all right? So that's it. As always, I'm Christopher Small. I'm the owner of CMS Law Firm. I normally would tell you what to do if you wanted to do some estate planning. I'm not going to do that today, okay? I just appreciate all of you, whether you're my friend or I don't know you at all or whoever you are. And I hope everyone is doing well. Tough time all around, okay? That's it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you again soon. See ya.